Hey, drama lovers. Welcome to True Life Stories. Before we dive into today's jaw dropping tale, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated with our most shocking real life stories. Today's story is one of betrayal, heartbreak, and ultimate redemption. Imagine coming home early from a trip to surprise your partner, only to discover a secret so devastating it changes your life forever. This is the story of how I uncover my wife's lies, took back control of my life, and found happiness again in the most unexpected way. My name is Michael, and for most of my life, I thought I had everything figured out. I married my high school sweetheart, Lisa, when we were both just 24. We were that couple everyone envied, the ones who seem to have it all: love, trust, and a shared dream of building a future together. For 10 years, I believed we were unshakable. Lisa was everything I thought I wanted in a partner: smart, beautiful, and ambitious. She worked as an interior designer while I ran my own tech consulting business. We supported each other through thick and thin, or so I thought. But looking back now, there were signs. Little things that didn't seem important at the time, but now stand out like flashing red lights. The way she'd suddenly become glued to her phone late at night, or how she started dressing up more often for work meetings. At first, I chalked it up to her being busy or wanting to look professional for her clients. But deep down, something didn't feel right. It all started when I decided to surprise Lisa by coming home early from a business trip. I had been away for 3 weeks working on a major project overseas. We'd been texting and video chatting every day, but something about her tone felt off. She seemed distant, distracted, even as I told myself it was just stress. After all, running a household alone while your spouse is away isn't easy. So I planned what I thought would be the perfect surprise: coming home a week early without telling her. The flight home was uneventful, and as I drove through our quiet suburban neighborhood that evening, I felt a surge of excitement. I pictured her reaction, the way her face would light up when she saw me standing at the door with flowers in hand. But as I pulled into her driveway, something felt wrong. There were two cars parked in front of our house, neither of which I recognized. One was a sleek black sports car that screamed midlife crisis, and the other was an older sedan with baby-themed decorations tied to the side mirrors. Pink and blue ribbons fluttering in the breeze. My heart sank as I noticed balloons tied to our mailbox and a banner stretched across the porch that read, "Welcome, baby." Baby? What baby? Lisa and I didn't have children. We had talked about it, but decided to wait until we were more financially stable. So whose baby was this? I parked down the street and sat in my car for what felt like an eternity, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. My hands gripped the steering wheel as my mind raced through every possible explanation. Maybe Lisa had thrown a surprise baby shower for one of her friends? Maybe this wasn't even happening at our house. But no matter how hard I tried to rationalize it, something in my gut told me otherwise. That I decided to walk up to the house quietly and peek through the living room window before going inside. The closer I got, the louder the laughter and music became. My stomach churned as I saw people mingling inside. Some familiar faces from our social circle, but also strangers who looked far too comfortable in my home. And then, there she was. Lisa stood in the center of the room wearing an elegant dress that hugged her figure perfectly. She looked radiant, glowing even, but not because of me. No, she was smiling at someone else. That a man stood beside her with his arm casually draped around her waist. A man who wasn't me. He was tall with dark hair and an expensive suit that matched his flashy sports car outside. And then I saw it. His hand resting gently on Lisa's swollen belly. And my world shattered in that moment. I don't remember walking through the front door or how everyone reacted when they saw me standing there. All I remember is Lisa's face, the way her smile froze mid-laugh when our eyes met. "Michael," she said softly, her voice trembling with shock. The room fell silent as everyone turned to look at me. The man beside Lisa quickly removed his arm from her waist, but didn't step away completely, a move that only fueled my anger. "What's going on here?" I asked calmly but firmly, my voice cutting through the tension like a knife. Lisa opened her mouth to speak, but hesitated as if searching for an excuse that wouldn't sound ridiculous under the circumstances. "It's not what it looks like," she finally said, a cliché line that only made things worse. "Really?" I replied coldly, because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like what it is. The man beside her, who I later learned was named Ryan, tried to interject. "Look, man," he began nervously, "we didn't mean for you to find out this way." I turned my gaze on him sharply. "Find out what exactly?" "That my wife is pregnant with another man's child? That you've been sneaking around behind my back while I've been working halfway across the world?" Ryan had no response, just a guilty expression that confirmed everything I needed to know. That night marked the end of my marriage and the beginning of one of the darkest periods of my life. Lisa begged for forgiveness in the weeks that followed, claiming she had made a mistake and still loved me. But how could someone who truly loved me betray me so completely? I filed for divorce immediately and cut all ties with both Lisa and Ryan. The legal process was messy. Lisa tried to fight for half of everything despite being at fault. But thankfully, my lawyer was able to prove infidelity using text messages and photos as evidence that in the end, she walked away with far less than she had hoped for while I kept our house and most of our savings. The months after the divorce were some of the hardest of my life, but also some of the most transformative. That I threw myself into work as a way to distract myself from the pain, but soon realized that burying myself in projects wasn't enough. I needed something more meaningful to focus on. So I started volunteering at a local community center where they offered free tech classes for underprivileged youth, a decision that not only helped others, but also reminded me why I fell in love with technology in the first place. That I also began reconnecting with old friends, people who had drifted away during my marriage, because Lisa always found ways to isolate me socially, and discovered just how much support was waiting for me if only I reached out for IT. It wasn't until 2 years later that love found its way back into my life, and in the most unexpected way possible. Her name was Emma, a fellow volunteer at the community center who shared my passion for helping others through technology education programs. She was kind-hearted yet fiercely independent, a combination that immediately drew me toward her like a moth to flame. Our relationship started slowly. We both carried scars from past relationships, but over time we built something real, trust rooted in honesty rather than secrets or lies, love based on mutual respect rather than convenience or obligation, happiness born from shared values rather than superficial appearances. Looking back now years later, with Emma by my side, I can honestly say, losing Lisa was one of the best things that ever happened to me because it forced me out of complacency into growth, out of betrayal into empowerment, out of despair into hope again. So, if you're watching this right now, wondering if you'll ever recover from heartbreak or betrayal, take it from someone who's been there. You will not only recover, you'll thrive beyond anything you thought possible. Thank you for watching today's story. If this resonated with you or inspired you in any way, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who might need encouragement right now. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another jaw-dropping tale here on True Life Stories. Until next time, stay strong And remember, sometimes losing someone is exactly what sets you free.